Alright guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I wanted to talk to you about iPhone 6 cases. So the way this video is going to work is I'm going to try to break it down into 3 different parts. First, I'm going to talk a little bit about my theory about cases. Then I'm going to talk about the 3 things I look for when I go out and try to buy an iPhone 6 case. And then lastly, I'm going to go over 3 different cases I think you should try and get. So, iPhone 6 cases, here's the basic background information you need to know. They don't really offer a lot more in the way of extra protection. My personal philosophy on cases is that you spend a lot of money for these kind of premium looking and feeling phones, and then you slap a cheap plasticky case over it, and it doesn't make a ton of sense in my opinion. But as I said kind of earlier, and I'll put a link down to this below, but in my review video, I think the iPhone 6 is actually the worst designed iPhone since the iPhone 4. So out of like the modern iPhones, so I think it actually may be worth getting a case here. The second reason I would really highly consider getting an iPhone 6 case is because of the protruding camera lens on the back of the iPhone 6. I really personally worry about something happening to that, and then again, you would ruin one of the best features for the iPhone 6, the camera. Alright guys, so what are the 3 things I look for when I go to buy an iPhone 6 case, or any phone case? It should be thin, it should look really nice, and it should offer some benefit in the way of protecting your phone. There are 3 different case options I wanted to break down to you today. One, you could go no case. You go completely naked, and this is actually the option I generally prefer with my phones. You could just add some additional skin so that could enhance grippability of the phone and add texture. And with the iPhone 6, that's kind of an important thing because the back of the phone is slippery. It's very slippery and it's bigger, so it's going to be easier to drop. My only problem with skins, and this is why I would recommend kind of the most heavy user, the person who's going to be using their iPhone 6 as their daily driver, to go with something more than just a skin and maybe a screen protector on your phone, and actually go with some kind of case, is because of the protruding camera lens. Now, I've heard other commentators say that, look, hey, this protruding camera lens has this quote-unquote sapphire glass out there, and like the sapphire glass is basically indestructible, it's amazing, and nothing can happen to it. You know, you can rub keys and whatever all over it, and the phone lens is going to be great, it's going to be fine. But I have seen in drop test videos when people have just dropped their phone and actually broke the camera lens and scratched and dinged the camera lenses. So to me, that's a risk I would not be willing to take with my iPhone, because I think it would ruin one of the best features of the iPhone, which is the camera. And so if the camera on your iPhone is dinged because the camera lens isn't good anymore, you know, I think it detracts a lot from the actual benefit of having an iPhone. Second one I would recommend, and this is going to be for the person who works kind of outside or is more susceptible to actually dropping or damaging their phone. So if you just know you drop your phone a lot, or you're really not used to having a bigger phone, I would recommend the Spec Candy Shell case. It's a little bit too bulky in my opinion, more bulky than what I would prefer. But it does offer a decent amount more in the way of actually protecting your phone if you drop it. Some of the drawbacks on the Candy Shell case, in my opinion, are again, the size of the Candy Shell case. I don't really like. I think it's still a little too thick in my opinion. And then secondly, I really don't like the design on the back of those. They feel kind of cheap and plasticky, and they don't really look that good. And I would have a really hard time personally just putting something like that on my phone. You know, in all fairness, I have used those cases in the past, and they work really great in actually protecting your phone. Alright, and then the last case I want to talk to you about is the case I actually went with, which is a Weimo case, and I'll put a link to it down below, as well as the other cases I've kind of talked about in today's video, down in the description link below. And I'll tell you about why I went with the case. So I think it meets kind of my 3 criteria that I go out when I look for and I go out to buy a case. So I'm really into this carbon fiber back. Again, that's a personal preference, but they do make this in kind of variety of shapes and color, not shapes. They make them in a variety of different colors and designs. So you can find different kind of variances of this. I think they have like leather and kind of like bamboo backings and hardwood backings. But I really like that. It adds a nice tactile kind of feel to the back of it. Adds a little bit more grippability to it than just having a plain plastic back. So it's thin. It adds about 2 centimeters of bulk to the back of your phone, which is definitely something I'm willing to go for. That's very, very thin in my opinion. And then it does offer some weight protection. Like I said, the main you need to protect your phone from scratches and dings. So if I was to drop this case has these nice rounded edges on the bottom of it to where it would stop the phone if it fell in the corner from getting dinged, and then of course it will stop the back of the phone from getting scratched up in my pocket by my keys. Alright, so now that I've covered those 3 cases, I'll go ahead and tell you a case I would not get. So I've read a lot about this online, I've seen a lot of people complaining about this, but the iPhone 6 OtterBox cases are they're just horrendous, guys. Like they look atrocious, they look so bad. They're not offering that much more protection. Like, you're not gonna, if you drop your iPhone 6 from a 5-story building, you probably don't need an iPhone 6. You probably need something else, you know, a Samsung Active phone. Alright guys, so that covers today's video about iPhone 6 cases. If you like this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more videos like that, please hit that subscribe button. It really helps the channel out. Lets me know that you like these videos and you want me to keep doing them. Alright guys, until next time, it's been real.